Hello YouTube, it's good to see you guys. Today I want to speak with you guys about the AR-15. I want to share my thoughts with you guys on the AR-15. This one also was designed by a firearms genius. Apparently this is Eugene Stoner's first project that he worked on as a firearm. Eugene Stoner was an engineer whose experience was mostly with aircrafts. They wanted, a much lighter rifle to carry into battle, along with all the other stuff they got to carry. So Eugene Stoner decided to use some of the space-age materials that they were using on aircraft at the time to make such a rifle. What he came up with was, I think the AR-10 came first, which was, it's basically the same thing in .308. But basically, he started using forged aluminum for the receiver and steel for the barrel, like always. But for the receiver, upper and lower receiver, he's using forged aluminum, which is a world lighter than steel. Plastic for the buttstock and for the handguard, and that saved a heck of a lot of weight. It's a long story, but one way or another, he ended up with the .223 round instead of the .308. The military, a lot of people in the military still wanted the punch of the 7.62 by 51, also known as .308 NATO round. They wanted to stick to that. I think the Air Force guy is one of the ones who was pushing for the .223 round. As he fired the rifle in .223 and he fell in love with it. .223, also known as 5.56 NATO. 5.56 NATO is the same thing, it's just measured in millimeters, and it's a little hotter than .223. 5.56 is loaded a little hotter than .223. The AR-15, by all accounts, everybody loves it. It's extremely accurate. I can't say enough good things about it. The standard sights that came on these rifles when it was came out were a peep sight. Peep sights are very good, very accurate out to long distances. Very easy to use peep sights. A lot of people still put peep sights on theirs, but the evolution of it came to be that a lot of people have a flat top, where they put their own type of sights. So some people choose to put peep sights, some people choose to put optics, some people even don't use the classic front sight. This is the classic front sight that they started out with. Some people choose to put a different kind of gas block on there and put, just go with an optic on their flat top. The AR-15 is a mighty fine rifle. It's evolved to the point that now collapsible stocks, that's what they're using now. Basically the typical AR-15 you're going to pick up now is going to have a flat top. You're going to have to decide what kind of optic you want on there. Sometimes you're going to get a gas block where you can also, either a gas block without a sight, a gas block with Picatinny rail on it, or a classic. You just have to decide what you want to do with that. I personally, I built my AR-15. I just, some people call it the payday rifle. So you can just go ahead and, stockpile parts and build them. It's not that hard to do. I mean, you will need some tools. You have to buy some specialty tools, but it's a lot of fun. You get to configure it the way you want right out of the box. Sometimes it's cheaper to build it. Sometimes it's not. Most of the time it's not cheaper to build it necessarily. But sometimes it is. It depends on what's going on with prices and politics and this and that. What else? The 5.56 or .223 round is very formidable despite the small projectiles. What the military had been using lately on these things is a 62 grainer. More classically, it's been a 55 grain projectile. I personally, just because it's cheaper and you can end up shooting the rifle more, I like to go with a 1 in 9 twist in the barrel with a 55 grain bullet. You can still shoot 55s out of 1 in 7, but I mean, I prefer the 1 in 9, 1 to 9 twist with the 55 grain bullets, because you're going to shoot it more often. That's the only real reason I like that combo, is cheaper ammo. Basically, the 62 grainers are just fine. They're very good, but they're a little bit pricier. From what I understand, you can still shoot 62 out of 1 in 9. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I understand, the only reason they changed from the 1 in 9 with the 55 grain projectile to the 1 in 7 with the 62 grain projectile isn't because of the difference of 7 grains in the actual projectiles. It was because the tracers that they were using with the 62 grain bullet were longer and therefore didn't fly well out of a 1 in 9. So the tracers that they were mixing in with the 62 grainers weren't helping any, because they weren't flying well out of the 1 in 9 because they were too long. So they required a 1 in 7 twist. So they went ahead and started making the guns in 1 in 7 and shooting the 62 grainers, which came out of there just fine. The 62 grainers fly just fine out of the 1 in 7 twist, and the tracers that they were using with the 62 grainers also fly well out of the 1 in 7. So that's why the military went ahead and changed the barrel to 1 in 7 twist. They were accommodating the ammo change. So it's up to you. You know, whatever you get is going to be fine. You're going to enjoy the rifle. They're extremely accurate. They're a lot of fun to shoot. They don't beat you up. It's a combat-worthy round that won't beat you up. I mean, you can shoot it all day long. You're not going to have any issue with soreness in the shoulder, bruising, or any of that. Can't say enough good things about the rifle, guys. Oh, another thing, guys. Personally, I like to use GI style mags. Aluminum or steel body are what I like to use. Reason being, they're flat. They're designed in a manner that this can go with all the military stuff. I mean, you can put these in your chest rigs, and basically anything that's designed to take an AR-15 magazine is designed to take a GI style magazine. The plastic magazines tend to be thick on the bottom, and that can present issues when trying to use the clothing and the other stuff that takes the GI mags for carry. That's one thing. Also, I mean, steel and aluminum are a lot sturdier than plastic. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that love the P-mags and all that other stuff, and to tell you the truth, I've used them, and I've never had any issue with them. However, you know, if I want to use a chest rig or anything like that, the GI mags are going to be a lot better because they're thinner on the bottom. And, you know, typically I use the C products. Mags are nice. But anything GI style should be good. What's good about C products is that they have the anti-tilt followers, just like the P-mags and whatever. So, you know, something to think about. Definitely, you know, I like C products. If there's any other good brands you guys like, let me know. I also have one from Bushmaster that I like a lot. It was a little bit pricey when I bought it. I'm hoping they came down some. That's another good thing about C products. The price is right. that Bushmaster mag wasn't bad. It was an aluminum Bushmaster mag. You know, stainless steel or aluminum, that's what I typically like to use with these AR-15s. You know, honestly, anything from a reputable company is probably going to be just fine. You know, like Troy mags, Magpul mags, Lancer mags. To go to the range and whatever, they're going to be just fine. I mean, if you want to bet your life on it, or you want to stick it into a chest rig or any other kind of carry deal, or you want to stack them up, these are better suited for that because they're a uniform thickness all the way around. And yeah. The AR-15 rifle retails from anywhere on the low end right now in November 2017. Prices are down a bit, so you can actually find some of these rifles for about 400 bucks. AR-15 rifles. However, what's been the norm for the past few years is that they start around 600 bucks. Sometimes you can find them from $550 all the way up to $3,000, and who knows, maybe even more. If we were going to sit here and debate the quality difference between the low end and the high end, we'll be here all night. You know, I mean, the difference in a lot of the cases is quality control. A lot of the higher end manufacturers actually test every single rifle, every single barrel, but that's another video. I mean, anywhere from, I guess now you're looking at about anywhere from like 400, 450 all the way up to a couple $1,000s. I mean, if I didn't have one, I'd just go ahead and grab one from a reputable company. Go ahead and go with a big name. You know, like a Smith & Wesson M&P15 wouldn't be a bad starter rifle. The Colt 6920. Something from Bushmaster, you know, get an entry-level one from Bushmaster. You know, just go ahead and go with a well-known company, Rock River Arms. Go with a company that people say are good, you know, Olympic Arms. If you're going to build one, just go ahead and go with well-known companies. You know, maybe Delton, Palmetto State Armory, something like that, and you can't go wrong. The Air Force guy that I was talking about that had a lot to do with the adoption of the M16 rifle or AR-15 rifle by the military is Curtis LeMay. Curtis LeMay had a lot to do with the adoption of the rifle because he loved it. I mean, somebody from Armalite knew him, had him try it out. You know, they went out shooting, had some fun, and he loved that rifle in 5.56. 5.56 was very popular in Europe. The round had been around before the M16, and apparently it was very popular in Europe. And here in the States, people were still with the large calibers, you know, like 30-06 and 308 NATO, and they liked themselves some big calibers. So I don't think it was really that popular here yet, at least not as a combat round. You know, that was anything under under 30 caliber was just not considered by many to be a combat round. But Curtis LeMay shot it in the popular 5.56 round, and the rest is history. One last thing, guys, I forgot to mention the AR-15 is the single most popular rifle chambered in .223. There's more AR-15 rifles out there in .223 than any other type of rifle. Although, you know, hunting rifles and everything else comes in .223 just like anything else. The most popular .223 rifle is the AR-15. Another thing about the AR-15 I wanted to tell you guys before I shut down is that the controls are extremely convenient. I'm going to show you guys that when I do the shooting video. The safety is controllable with your thumb, and once you slap another mag in, all you got to do is palm slap another button, and the bolt carrier comes home and you're ready to go. So you put in a mag, tap it on the bottom, tap the side, and your bolt carrier is home and you're ready to go. Very, you know, it's a very well designed rifle. The controls are very convenient. You know, if you don't have one, you really ought to go out and get one. You don't know what you're missing, guys. Very accurate round, and that's it. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, because I figured it was pretty important before I go ahead and shut down for the night. Thank you so much for watching with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Go out and build yourself an AR-15, guys. You know, it may not necessarily be cheaper to build it, but you get 0% financing. So, you know, go out and get yourself an AR-15, guys. Thank you very much for watching and spending the time with me. I appreciate it. Until next time, have a good one, YouTube.